Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Target Exclusive Python Patrol Officer. This is the last figure in the Tiger Force wave of the Target Exclusive figures that I need. This is the newest army builder on the Cobra side of things. I had pre-ordered this guy at the Target website, but then I saw him at stores before he arrived. But he had already shipped, so I had to leave them behind and wait another couple days. 2 of them arrived today, and I got 2 more arriving tomorrow. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, ages 4+, a little warning. Python Patrol, G.I. Joe Classified Series, Python Patrol Officer by Hasbro. Here he's in the package. Looks like a bunch of guns, knife, magazines, and a holster. One side, we have some Cobra insignia. He is the 56th figure in the G.I. Joe Classified line. The back, here is the Tiger Force Jungle. Here's a Python Patrol Officer. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode in case it helps anybody. So no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting 4 of these figures for army building purposes. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a knife, 3 different guns, 2 of which have removable magazines, and 1 has an additional scope. Then he also has a holster for his pistol. But before I take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is the Python Patrol Officer. Looks to be mostly a repaint of the Cobra Officer. So let's take a look at him. Starting with his face here. One of the first things I noticed looks to be a black man under the mask, and that's pretty cool. A little bit of love, not just for the Caucasian people. Now, it would have been kind of cool if you had 2 different heads. One is a Caucasian, one is a black man. I did see Hasbro tease some future army builders, and they come with different heads like that. It's a really good idea when you're army building. A little diversity in your troops. He's got that helmet. Going further down, you can see the Cobra logo on his chest here. Looks like a little bit of texturing on his outfit there. He's got a little vest here on the front. It's got all kind of pouches. He's got, looks like another holster here and a couple more on the back. Little slot for a backpack that he doesn't actually come with. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Another fantastic armor builder addition to the Cobra side of things. And just a closer look at his face, helmet, and head sculpt. Definitely looks very familiar. Although I think the helmet is a little bit different. And then, here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. And here are all 4 of the Python Patrol Officers, with all of their accessories laid out. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with his helmet. So here's his helmet. It's all black. A little bit of sculpting detail on the front there. Hollow, gonna fit around his head. Now it is a little bit of a different sculpt from the previous helmets. Overall it's the same thing, but the extra little designs are a little bit different. Here's the Python Patrol Officer without the helmet on, then with a helmet attached. Now let's check out his knife. Nothing exceptional here, simply a knife. Got a silver blade, nice bit of sculpting detail in there. Then of course it's got this black handle, and also has a good amount of sculpting. Here's this patrol officer holding the knife, and here he is holstering the knife. I kind of wonder if the knife is actually intended for this sheath. It doesn't go all the way in, you can still see some of the blade, and it's pretty loose in there. If I dropped him into my tub of G.I. Joes, the knife would definitely come out. Now for his pistol. It kind of has that shape, like an old school military pistol. Very square looking. All black. Here's this officer holding his pistol, and here he is holstering this pistol. Now for this smaller semi-automatic weapon. I believe it's some sort of submachine gun of sorts. We have a holster, the weapon itself, and the magazine. Now the weapon, it's very curled from the packaging, easily fixed with some hot water. You see on the back side where the magazine should fit. Here's this officer holding that gun, then holding this gun with the magazine coming out of the side. And the holster is going to fit onto his back. I thought a backpack would go there, but this obviously plugs into that spot as there's nowhere else it could go. Then, with the gun inside this holster, and you can take this extra magazine and pop it into this sort of pouch on the back of his belt. It sticks out pretty far, but there's simply nothing else that would fit into that slot, so it has to be the magazine. Now for his rifle, which comes in 3 pieces. We have the actual gun itself, removable magazine, and then an alternate scope. Gun itself looks pretty good. Good amount of scope and detail. A little bit of variation in the paint there. A little green, the python color. Not a bad sculpt, but the paint job very bland. And here's the rifle fully assembled. We have the scope on the side, the magazine. Looks a little bit better this way, more complete. Here's the Cobra patroller holding his rifle. He can hold it with either one hand or with 2, and it looks like he can hold the magazine and the scope in the different pouches onto his belt. Now the magazine sticks out way too far. The scope, very hard to put in there, but they simply have to go in those slots, as he doesn't come with anything else that would make sense to go in there. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, staying at about 6.2 inches tall, which could translate to just under 16 centimeters. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that far. Pretty nice range of motion. He tilts his head from one side to the other. He's articulation at the top of the neck and at the bottom of the neck. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes about 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion, although this one doesn't seem to do very much. Bicep cut below that, double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. He's got an ab crunch in his torso here. Ball joint his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Legs, ball joints, complete as the splits. Bring it back down. He's got those drop down hips. They look hideous like this, but push him back up. Forward about that far, back not much. He's got a thigh cut below that. Double jointed knees. He's got a boot cut at his ankles, forward and back. Tilt rock, and the rotation is in the boot cut. Here's an image of these 4 Cobra Python patrol officers on top of a military barracks. Here they are, aiming down the stairs, prepared for any Joes that are going to go up there. Now let's check them out. Next is some of their action figures, starting off with some of their Hasbro G.I. classified figures. Here are all 3 of the Target exclusive Python Patrol Cobra figures. They're all armor builders. We've got the BAT, the Python Patrol Officer, and the Python Patrol Viper. And here he is, next to the Target exclusive Tiger Force Joe figures. We've got Outback, Bazooka, Recondo, and Duke. Here's the entire Target exclusive Tiger Force wave. The Cobra figures are called Python Patrol, and the Joe figures, Tiger Force. Happy to finally be done with another Target exclusive wave. Now let's check them out. Next is some other G.I. Joe Army builders, and they've only made them on the Cobra side of things. Here are all 4 of the Python Patrol officers that I have. Here he is, next to 4 Cobra troopers. These are part of the first wave of Target exclusive figures, the wave that was really hard to find. And here he is, next to some Cobra troopers. This is a wide release of the Cobra infantry trooper. He just doesn't have the red band on his left arm, the goggles, and I think 1 less gun. I got a total of 12 of these guys. Then, next to the Cobra officer, got 4 of those guys. Here's this Python Patrol officer, next to 4 of the red ninjas. And here he is, next to the blue ninjas. I got 4 of those 2-packs. Then, next to the Cobra Viper, this guy's from the Army Builder pack. I got 3 of those. And now, next to the Cobra Viper officer, also from the Army Building pack, got 3 of those. Here's the Python Patrol officer, next to 4 of the Python Patrol Vipers. Another Tiger Force Cobra Army Builder. And here he is, next to some Alley Vipers. There are so many different Army Builders on the Cobra side of things. I would love it if they would make one or two for the Joe side. I know they didn't really make those in the old days of G.I. Joes, but it'd be nice to have sort of a generic military guy with a couple different heads. I'd buy a bunch of those. Then, with 4 of the Cobra BATs, and now with the Target exclusive Tiger Force Python Patrol bats, and finally, next to the Cobra Crimson Guards, here's this officer next to several recently released Cobra figures. Then, with even some more recent Cobra figures, here he is next to some of the earlier Cobra figures Hasbro released, and here, next to some recent Joe releases. Here are absolutely all of the Hasbro G.I. Joe classified Cobra figures that I have. I believe I have all the figures and all the variants except for the light blue Cobra Commander, then the original Target exclusive Viper. Wish I had several of those, but I'd be happy with just one at this point. I also don't have Serpentor, but I do have a pre-order for him, so I'm going to get him eventually. And here are all the Hasbro G.I. Joe classified Joe figures that I have. I believe I have every single one, every single variation. If there's anything missing with either Cobras or the Joes I didn't mention, please drop me a line in the comments below. Now let's check them out. Next to some action figures that I thought would fit in both scale and style-wise pretty good with your Hasbro Cobra team. Here he is, next to a Mattel DC Universe Classics Copperhead. He's a nice fill-in for Serpentor until I get mine. Then, next to a Hasbro Fortnite Metal Mouth. Kinda got the military fatigues going on, with a gimmick though. He's got that metal helmet. Then, next to a Jazzwares Fortnite Havoc. He looks very similar to Cobra's Firefly. Now let's check him out. Next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you would know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a Hasbro G.I. Joe figure, they're typically the 6-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of these smaller action figure lines I collect, and work my way larger. But first, let's check him out with some of his Hasbro brothers. Here he is, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. Then, next to some Hasbro Fortnite Victory Royale figures. Here he is, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. Then, next to a container of Black Pepper. And here he is, next to some Mayfix figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. Then, with some Mattel WWE wrestlers. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, next to some McFarlane toys. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. And finally, next to some Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. Overall, he's a nice figure. I always enjoy getting another army builder on the Cobra side of things. But he's quite inferior to the Cobra officer or infantry officer, at least color-wise. The kind of neon green, yeah, I guess it's appropriate for the Python Patrol or Tiger Force stuff, but just a little bit too abnormal for my tastes. Still, it's a nice figure. Accessories are cool. If I were to rate this guy, I'm probably going to give him a 6 out of 10. Just the color scheme kind of turns me off a little bit. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.